Facebook, Libra, Global Coin, lots of excitement, is a big deal, but I think people have to calm down and remember that this is not launching anytime soon. In the fast moving world of cryptocurrency, I am concerned that by the time they launch, they're going to be launching into a new world. They say, Facebook says public launch first half of 2020. I haven't seen one cryptocurrency project launch on time ever. That would put them at late 2020, over a year from now. But I assume when they say this is when they're going to be ready, they're talking about technically. What about regulations? Look at what's gone on with Backed, right? This is the New York Exchange Bitcoin Futures Exchange. This is from their blog in November 2018, where they said, we're going to launch 2 months later in January 2019. Here we are, we're almost, now they say they're going to launch in July 2019. Hey, maybe they will, but this has been delayed for 6 months, and this is the New York Stock Exchange. This is what they do for a living, and they have a great relationship with the U.S. government, and this is just U.S. government regulations. So Facebook is going to navigate not only the U.S., but many jurisdictions around the world for their on-ramp. What was the article? I had a title here that, Facebook's cryptocurrency will face a regulatory hurricane. Yeah, and then let me tell you something else to be worried about. This company, General Magic, actually, this is interesting. I haven't seen this yet. There's a documentary. I want to watch it. I want to watch it soon. There's been a lot of these, and I remember this one because I'm that old. General Magic was sort of the who's who of corporations getting together to build the next generation of technology. Let's see, Sony and Philips and AT&T and the biggest telecom companies and Apple all got together. And they did a lot of great things and it was great, but Apple sort of stabbed them in the back when they came out with the Newton, and people, the incentives were not lined up. It's sort of like, so what it reminds me of, with Facebook. Where was this article? No, that's not what I want. Shoot. Well, anyways, they have all these companies, Visa and MasterCard, signed on. Well, for $10 million, Visa and MasterCard get to be involved in the creation of this thing, get access to all the transaction data, and meanwhile, I'm sure they're still working on whatever they were working on before and would be happy to stab them all right in the back. So I'm not too excited about these corporate consortiums. And just to make it clear on this is how this is not an exact diagram of how things work, but I think it makes it easy for me to explain a little bit. So fiat currency is simply, here it says bank regulator. I like to think central bank and government partnership creates fiat currency, right? And fiat currency has almost 100% market share in the world, right? I mean, because you talk about the US dollar, well, with the euro, you say, oh, that competes with the US dollar, but it's also fiat. It's still central bank partnership with governments. Japan, the same, and even smaller countries that are trying to, fight the dollar, like Russia, they still have the same fiat system, central bank partnership with the government. So that's what runs the world, and it is going to lose market share. It's already losing market share, very little at this point, but it is coming under pressure fast. We see it with cryptocurrency, and so there's a bridge between the fiat world, and here in this diagram there's Bitcoin, and you have a cryptocurrency exchange where you are able to exchange some fiat for crypto. Now you will have Facebook here, which is not a real cryptocurrency as we've come to understand it, sort of a decentralized, protocol. It's more of a corporate consortium chain, but that will be a separate feature that will have to go through a currency exchange. And getting all those approvals and all those ramps, those on-ramps from your dollars into this global coin, there's a lot of work to be done. I don't think this thing is launching anytime soon, and I would be very concerned because things are moving so fast. So that's Those are issues. And okay, so let's talk about the other thing is who this competes with or what they're doing. So I like this diagram that I've shown before here. This is a little old, this diagram, but you know, so for example, gold, a store of value that cannot be printed. This is not, Libra, Global coin, Facebook's coin is not going to compete with this at all, right? It's not going to be a security. You're not going to earn any interest. You have no chance of gaining any money. Someone emailed me, oh, when's the Facebook ICO? There's no ICO. There's no excitement in this thing. It's a peg, and I'm going to talk about the peg later, a peg to I don't know what. But it's not competing with that. Now, maybe it's competing with money supply. It's not a bond. It's not competing with that. Obviously, real estate, and then derivatives, which are going to be built on Ethereum. Smart contracts. It's not competing with Ethereum. It's not competing with Bitcoin. It's not competing with Binance Coin. Binance, one of the largest cryptocurrency exchanges, and their token in America. We're not even allowed to buy it. But it's not competing with those. It's competing with payments. It wants to be a payment system. And so, the couple things on that. So when it comes to most cryptocurrencies, any cryptocurrencies are saying just we want to be payments. I think they're having some competition. But even within that, it's such a huge market. I'm not that worried about it. So let's talk about my favorite here, Stellar, right? So one thing to remember with Stellar, I mean, and this still holds true. This URL, let me show you my URLs here. So this is for all time. Stellar's payments. This is, looking at payments per month. And you can see here, this is a half month. So it's been trending up. If the number of payments on Stellar keeps going up quickly, I think the token holds its value or does well, right? I mean, that's sort of what you're betting on. They're working with IBM, and I think what IBM is working on is big international trades. What I'm envisioning is tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars payments when containers are received, right? Container shipments. I don't think Facebook's trying to compete with that. So IBM WorldWire is payments. Oh, Facebook's payments. But I don't think that's competition. Ripple, I don't follow Ripple that closely. I've got my bet, and I wish if somebody can point me to some statistics like this for Ripple, that are trusted, I would love to see, how is Ripple's growth looking compared to Stellar, and it's interesting information. Now this is 3 months, right? So here we see April and then May, and it really started picking up here in June. Now it's a little bit lower here, but we're picking, the volume in June is much higher, almost double, it looks like, what it was in May. So this is all I care about. I don't care about Facebook launching in 2 years. What I care about is these transactions, the number of payments going up per day. There's a lot of other statistics here, and I've talked about it before with Stellar, and I need to get somebody from the Stellar team to decipher these and to dig deeper. But at this point, like I said, I'm watching payments. So at this point, I'm not worried about Facebook. Like I said, is not launching anytime soon. Another feature is privacy. Facebook is not going to have any privacy. And privacy methods for paying privately I know they're being worked on all over the place on Ethereum, and eventually there'll be something user-friendly. But again, Facebook is not going to be the one system to rule the world. It is one more giant attack on the fiat system, and it will eventually, if it launches, take some market share, but it does not destroy the bull case for Bitcoin, Ethereum. And another thing, I saw someone from Ripple. Do I have this quote? Shoot, there was, let me find this. Ripple, Libra cryptocurrency. I thought this was interesting here. CEO from Ripple, Garling House, said that it's a record week. Can we shut that off? It's a record week for Ripple when Facebook makes this announcement. And my first thought was, oh, God, here they go. Let's pump the coin. Bunch of bullshit, right? But then I thought about it. Again, Facebook getting into the payments game, and they're going to want launch 3 years from now, 2 years from now, whatever it is. I think that makes a lot of people who aren't partnering with Facebook, or even if they are, they're like, shit, I want to get my own thing before they do. It may motivate people to get their projects going. Maybe someone who was on the fence with Ripple, or someone who's on the fence with Stellar, sees what Facebook's is doing, and now they're motivated, like, let's get it going now. Well, we know that we need to work. They're motivated. It's possible that this is a shot in the arm for the other payment solutions. And keep in mind, Ripple and Stellar have been up and running for 4 years. They have an advantage. They're not going to be wiped out by Facebook anytime soon. What's the Freudian slip on that? Okay, so where are we now? Privacy. Another thing is identity, and I'm kind of excited about Microsoft identity. Blockchain. You know, the advertising companies do not have an incentive to make a decentralized identity. And a decentralized identity meaning that who you are and your data is saved on a public blockchain that is private and only you have access to it, and you can share whoever you want access to it. It sounds like a very difficult thing to build and will probably take a long time, but Microsoft is doing a lot to build it. Building it on Ethereum, they're building a version on Bitcoin. They're really working on this because Google and Facebook don't have an incentive because they want to own the identity, right? Google and Facebook, that's where they're making their money now. So Microsoft is sort of focusing hard on this. I don't know. I would hope IBM would, but IBM, yeah, I don't think they're working on it. So this is an interesting thing, and this is going to be another issue coming down the road for Facebook. What are they doing with identity? And is anyone, if there's a public, private way to save your identity that's not owned by any corporation, who is going to allow their identity, their main identity, to be stored? You may have an identity on Facebook, but your primary one will probably be the one that you control and own. So who knows what the timing is on Microsoft or whomever. There's other people working on this. There's Civic is a crypto project that's been around for a while working on it. These things feel far away from launching, the general identity platforms, but Facebook isn't launching anytime soon either. So who knows? It's just another thing coming down the pike here that can be a difficult challenge for Facebook. This is not Facebook's to lose. Facebook's got a lot of work ahead of them. But again, despite all of my pessimistic words here, Facebook has whatever it is, 2.5 billion people on its platform. They should be able to gain some market share in a very new market here, So it's another player. But again, I think the U.S. dollar would be more concerned than our favorite cryptos, or who knows what your favorite are, than my favorite cryptocurrencies. Okay, next I want to talk a little bit about the on-ramps and the motivation here. This was interesting, something I read about. So WeChat, one of the biggest payment systems in the world, and I think, again, what Facebook is doing is sort of trying to do a version of WeChat. It's less cryptocurrency and more a centralized digital currency. Instead of WeChat being one company, which is eventually probably going to become the Chinese government, it's a consortium of corporations. But even WeChat, with its great size, did not immediately have people spending money on its system. They had to create this fun thing that was super successful. There's a thing called red envelopes, which I guess in Chinese tradition is a way to give a gift, and then people would be chatting and a red envelope would appear, and if you click on it, you would win some money, and it would be literally like you'd win 2 cents. But all of a sudden you have a free wallet and you won, and like there's ways, and it was like people loved it and they were playing, and all of a sudden everybody's got a wallet with a few pennies in it, and that is what got the WeChat digital cash ball rolling. A game. PayPal was another one. If you read about how PayPal got started, I think it was like they were giving away money. If a friend signs up, you get a certain amount of dollars, or if you refer a friend, that friend gets whatever it was. They were like giving away money in order for people to open up a PayPal account. Sort of gamification, incentives are key, and I'm not hearing any of that in Facebook. In fact, this whole idea that Facebook, where's my link here? Okay, this is the reserve. The Facebook coin is just a peg. There's no incentive. Someone emailed me. It's like, when's the Facebook ICO? There's no ICO. There's no speculation. Oh, everybody thinks speculation is so evil. Well, that's an incentive. If I think, oh, Facebook, oh, this is going to be great, I want to bet on it, I'm going to buy and hold it, and by being early, I'm going to make some money, that gets me involved. I have no incentive to own Facebook coin now or anytime until I see something online that I want to buy right now. Then I would convert it. And what am I going to do? Go to Coinbase? I wish I had some more graphics here. I'll show you my notes I'm working from here. When you want to buy Facebook coin, what are we going to, you're going to go to Coinbase and send over currency, and they say, wait a week, send over your fiat, and then you go and you're going to buy some Libra, and then you're going to go buy your skin cream? I don't know how that's going to work. There's no incentive to get on there. And meanwhile, when I'm in Coinbase, I might be like, oh, maybe I'll get some Bitcoin too, right? So them having to get all of these on-ramps sounds very difficult. These are my notes here. And not only that, so every country, if they want to be, the global coin, every country is going to need these on-ramps where government regulations approve them. This seems like a tall order. And they give a little bit of the chicken and egg. I mean, what exchanges are going to list it if nobody really wants it or there aren't uses, and who's going to build the uses and the applications if nobody has the coin yet? How does it get going? Without speculation, without some sort of game or pyramid scheme to incentivize people to get in on the thing, it might be a ghost town. And we've seen, it's been interesting. We've seen, the U.S. dollar, the United States seems to be against everything. And even, I don't know, it's not, there's different people saying different things. I'm not sure the U.S. is going to quickly greenlight. If they won't greenlight the New York Stock Exchange, they're not going to be greenlighting Facebook quickly. France, Germany, clearly against it. I thought it was interesting that England said that the Central Bank of England will hold the Libra reserve currency. I thought that was cool. They're just going all in right off the bat. Good for them. The Facebook coin is based in Switzerland, which also is a little interesting. They didn't pick Singapore. I don't think anything right now is going to be based in the United States, which is sort of the center of restrictions. And in the Facebook announcement, there are no banks that have agreed. So remember this little chart here, right? Your fiat, and here's the cryptocurrency. In order to get, and if this is Libra, we need banks, or Facebook needs banks to partner to do the on-ramp. I don't think there's one bank that signed on anywhere. So it's another chicken and egg. Sometimes that's a very difficult sign, I think, for Facebook, because it's sort of like no bank wants to be the first, and they all want to be the seventh, right? They want to see a few people come on, and then they come on. And so far, we haven't seen anybody. This is another concern, that this thing gets delayed or has to be rethought through. And again, delayed. So back to my notes. We talked about that. And so the reserve itself, what did I want to talk about here? I mean, I want to talk about the peg next. I think talking about the reserve is more about, okay, the pegging issue, and no pun intended for those of you who know about my e-commerce business, where pegging is a big market. In crypto world, pegging has a different definition. which is, so for example, all the rage these days, people call them stable coins. They're really mostly dollar pegged tokens. And the reason you want to peg a crypto price to a dollar is the dollar the most popular unit of account is a dollar, which means if you're going to buy something, its price is listed in dollars, is the most popular. A lot of things are also listed in euros. A lot of things are priced in yen, at least in Japan, right? And so, there's a great advantage to having a currency that is pegged to what everything is priced in. Once you go off that, you create a layer of confusion, a layer of you have to convert, and it's a whole thing. Now, Facebook is all excited because they say, well, it's going to be kind of stable. It's not going to move too much differently than the dollar, for example. Well, maybe, but to me, once you're not using the same unit of account, you're just another friggin' coin. So I think, and they're pegging to a basket of currencies. What does that even mean? And they haven't really explained it. If you can read through this whole paper here, what does pegging to a basket mean? And volatility, keep in mind, they don't want it to be volatile. Okay, yeah, it'll probably be less volatile than Bitcoin. Keep in mind, a lot of volatility is because it's going up so much. And a lot of people don't mind that. If something goes up 100%, in a month and then it falls 30% the next week, I really don't care because I'm up, well, the math isn't right, but 70%, right? So if you're going up a lot, volatility is not a big deal. But anyways, they want it to be stable. Maybe it'll be more stable than Bitcoin. But let's think about it this way. Geez, I want to buy a bike next month. So I'm going to save up some money. And I'm buying it in dollars. Am I going to save up my money in Libra, which even if it moves only, it's not too volatile, it moves 2-3% in my favor or against, it's still some volatility. You want to be, so I think this whole peg thing, I think it's going to be difficult for them to maintain the peg. They haven't even defined what the peg is. And then in the short term, let's just say they're not, it's like, it's Christmas time and there's someone does a promotion and all of a sudden everyone starts buying this global coin for something and their way to manage the peg is to mint new tokens or burn some. But if it happens really quickly, and what if a lot of people with dollars start buying the global coin and that affects the peg and they want to adjust it, but they really only want to adjust it for people with dollars. This thing sounds like a nightmare to me. Again, it's another thing I don't see working. Now, keep in mind, most successful businesses, launch, realize they have problems, pivot, and then they're successful. And maybe they have to pivot a few times, and maybe that's the case with Facebook here. But again, they're competing. Bitcoin's been around for 10 years. Ethereum's been around 4 years now. These things are growing like wildfire. Stellar, I mentioned, been around, I don't know now, 5 or more years. Been working with IBM on payments for 3 years. Like, if Facebook doesn't launch for 2 years and has to pivot twice, let's all calm down, right? And again, with the speculation, people are very negative, cryptocurrency, it's all speculation. It feeds adoption. One thing I think is going to happen is people are going to start to gain respect for the idea of gamification, speculation, and I don't like the term pyramid. It has a very negative scheme when you talk about a pyramid scheme, but the idea that if you get in early, you make more. Look for something that's going to gain adoption, get in early, and hold, and then you make money. That gets a community to grow and gets, the dedicated, sometimes crazy followers that a movement needs. And Facebook, I don't see it having any of that. Okay. I think that's all I wanted to say. Do I have anything else here? We talked about that. No, that's it. I hope I went through all my notes. Thank you for watching. Let me know your thoughts. Talk to you soon.